for summer, H for falling in love.
Let me start this off by saying that I like travel. I have no problem with it. It's great, but it ain't that great if you broke. Welcome everyone to the Melanindragon channel. Hello to all my dragons of the north, south, west, and east. How y'all feeling out there? Y'all having a good time? You having a Merry Christmas yet? I'm not. I'm kind of broke. Anyway, I want to talk about the overall concept of traveling, especially in reference to my channel and the further development of it. We're just going to talk about some things that have been on my mind in reference to travel and how that has been affecting me. Number one, I ain't got no money. Traveling is expensive. It is a very, very huge financial burden every single time you step out your house. You never know how much stuff you're going to do. I don't really buy things like, you know, souvenirs and stuff like that. We were at an all expenses paid inclusive resort and we still ended up spending money on outside things. I went on that excursion and stuff like that, so that ended up like costing me around $250 when I only really budgeted to spend like $50. The average American in his or her or their 20s makes about $33,000 annually. And I am below that average. I've looked into a lot of the situations that I have, but you know, reality is reality. And the real reality is that I don't got money to be going out like that. Point number two, the world is still shut down. I don't know if you guys have noticed, you might not have. We are still in the Panera Bread. We are still in the panoramic view of the nightmare that is my life. We are still going into the trenches. We are not going abroad right now. As much as I want to, as much as I want to leave this country and go see the beauty that is the world's not that beautiful right now, and there's a virus out there trying to destroy it. It basically said, if capitalism isn't going to do it, I'm going to take care of it for you. Very clear, whenever you want to go somewhere, you have to put like a mission towards that and everything, but it's really hard to plan and to want to do things when the world is the way it is right now. To fly anywhere international, you have to be quarantined for 2 to 3 weeks, and there ain't enough PTO in the world to be doing that. I get that these are situations that are happening right now because of, you know, Mick Rohn. Probably not going to be able to get out of the country. I could probably travel around the States and stuff, but until I'm financially stable to the point where I can do that, that's probably just not going to happen for any time soon. I need to get a better handle on my finances in general anyway, and I'm currently reading the books, where are they? I Can Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi and Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. If you read these books, they're pretty good. They're pretty great at kind of detailing the things you need to think about in your everyday life as accordance to money. And it kind of helps to reshape your thought process towards it. And I appreciate that because I have a pretty bad thought process with money because of like my life and how things have gone, especially with like college and stuff like that. My biggest part of savings, and I'm gonna make a whole video about my financial journey soon, but my biggest thing about savings right now is that I need to have an entire money, and I'm gonna call it the dip fund. And if y'all know what dip means, it means I'm trying to get, but we're gonna move on to point number 3. It's winter, all right? I am completely justified in living my pristine hermit lifestyle as much as I want to right now. I got a Switch. I got Slim Fit on the Switch. I got hella video games I haven't even played. I ain't going nowhere. I do not need to go and do anything. I have food in my house. I have alcohol in my house. I have things that I can do that will bring me joy if I stay indoors or I go do a free thing with a friend. I'd rather save the money so that when I really want to go out and do that and be buck wild, I can be as buck wild as I want to be because I can afford it. I will iterate some of the places that I can go to that don't cost me that much money and may not cost you that much money. I think a lot of my viewers right now are people who live in Baltimore or people who live in Maryland or people who live in the DMV metropolitan area. Number 1, New York. New York, baby. It's great out there. I have endless amounts of fun when I go out there. I will say that New York is quite expensive, but it's probably the least expensive place for me to travel to for extended stay. There's so much to do. There's so many events going on at all times, especially, you know, with McMurone kind of settling down and getting back in his jail cell. I think I find something more interesting every single time I go to New York. I was a kid when we used to go a lot and we would only really be in the Long Island location. But now that I can afford a hotel and stay wherever I want to, I go to like little restaurants I haven't been to. I go to the Asian markets I want to go to. I'd be stuck in Chinatown sometimes. Only an Amtrak away, which, I mean, give or take, when I buy the tickets and stuff like that, could cost me up to like maybe $80 going there and back, which is really not that bad. I also really like vlogging in New York. I'm going to go back to New York in a month to celebrate my friend's birthday, and I will be vlogging that weekend. It's great. It's just such a creative city. I've known it since I've been little. I mean, I've been in theater for years, so I just knew if I go out to New York, I'm just going to be energized to get into my stuff, get into my creative projects. And it is a little bit weird because I'm starting off vlogging to do the things that I'm doing now. But like when I go to New York and I have a camera up and I'm just like walking around, I honestly don't feel like the stares that you usually get. Like people are usually just like, oh, it's another one of those. I'm like, I'm one of the best. Subscribe to me, peasants. Number 2 is DC. I just did a video about it. I go to DC a lot. It's such a beautiful city. I live right near the Penn Station in Baltimore, so it's honestly like a 8-minute walk to the Penn Station, and then I can just hop on a MARC train and go up. If you're not familiar with what the MARC is, it is a train that goes from Baltimore to DC or the Virginia area. There is another MARC train that goes to College Park. It's great. It's honestly like one of those, like what I thought, you know, if I traversed across England and I sat in like a little like train to take me there, that's what the MARC train feels like. It's got these beautiful windows. It's got these great views of the hillbilly parts of Maryland, and it's just really nice. Honestly, I'm always up for a ride up to DC. It's really peaceful. It's really nice, and the architecture of DC is some of the most beautiful architecture you ever see. DC's kind of in like New York in that context. There's so much stuff to do. It is still expensive, but it's like, you know, just because I go up there for a day, I could be cool with only doing one thing. And the Smithsonian's are an endless fun adventure. They're all free. Like, what more could you want? There are little things that you could pay for, but because I go to DC so much, I just don't eat around the Smithsonian area. If I'm going to the Smithsonian for a day, I'm like, all right, whenever we're all hungry, we're walking up to Chinatown. There's a straight up shot and there's hella restaurants, and then we can just find somewhere to eat and find somewhere to chill and then go on to the next adventure. We can go take a bus over to Abdus Morgan, or we can take the metro. Number 3 is Philly. I've only been to Philly like once for like a night thing. We went to this horrible like horror house that was set in a jail, and these things never really scare me, so I was bored. I can't speak much on it because I haven't done it yet, but I could also take the Amtrak there, so that's just another leeway for something else. I will say I like to go to as many places as I can. I try to explore Baltimore as much as I can now, especially now that I have a channel, because there's just always an ability to make content. If it's a place I haven't been to, I'm gonna be acting a fool. I'm basically gonna be Igor with confidence and Balenciagas. I'm gonna have a whole robe. I'm gonna be looking out my window like what are these people doing? Do keep in mind that travel is for everyone, and you shouldn't feel too constricted by the things that are going on right now, that you can at least go try something new and different, or you can go to a little city next to you. I hope you guys are having fun out there. I hope you're smiling. I hope you're looking up or like buying a ticket for somewhere you haven't been. I hope you're like looking up some stuff for the city that you haven't been to. It's great out there, guys. Just explore the world just even a little bit, and I swear you're gonna go a long way. Goodbye to all my dragons out there. I hope you're having a good one. Stay tuned for my Merry Christmas vlog. It's gonna be coming up. And without further ado, Dragonite, take us away. Woo.